Welcome back, Redeemers. Thank you for joining us again. My name is Curtis.
I'm Nick.
Keith.
And today we got a special song from Stray Kids, just dropped. Give Me Your TMI music video. So without further ado, let's see what we got.
띵동띵 가는 땡땡땡 머리는 띵 주변은 핑 돌아가 돌아 뱅뱅뱅 너에게 계속 들게 난또 랩으로 왜 자꾸 튕겨 랩 플릭 때쯤에 바이러스가 왜 왔지만 좀 땡겨 보고 그
Computer scheme.
잠시 버버린 걸린 내 감각 Don't know why 누굴까 내게 홀린 듯 떠다가간다 깨닫거나 묻고 싶어 점점 더 두두해져 알면 더 알수록 I really gotta know 가까워질수록 right now 대체롭게 뭐길래 나를 멋지다게 해 절대 침착은 아니야 I just wanna know baby 내가 나도 모르게 점점 더 몰입이 돼 More to I wanna know more 굳이 더 알고 싶어 Give me your TMI 더 궁금해져
Kingsman.
Let's say all the Kingsman references.
Alright, huh?
Right now, 대체 내게 뭐길래 나를 멈칫하게 해 절대 집착은 아니야 I just wanna know baby 왜 나도 모르게 점점 더 몰입이 돼 Want to, I wanna know more 굳이 더 알고 싶어 Give me your TMI 더 궁금해져
What's in the box?
That's a good look.
So how do you feel about it?
Passing the vibe.
Nah, they energy, man. First off, I love the production on this. It was not like a lot bigger than like Super Bass and Chill, but definitely felt more just kind of like, trying to think of like a good way to put it and shit, because Chill, the production on all of these have been like crazy, but none of them sound like very much the same to me. Like I feel like they all kind of have like their own, God bless your soul, their own synergy and like vibe for each one. But as far as like this just goes by itself, I do like the build up, the different components of the track. Han in particular, once he kind of started going and like those cadences went and just kind of what he was doing, I love when it got into like the quote unquote R&B section of it too. It kind of elevated the track, and made it like a little bit different. And then after that, I think it kind of rounded back into like its regular beat, but I like the progression from that to that to that. The Kingsman vibe was just decent in here, and I think the aesthetic and like their looks were all like dope. Everyone looked dapper, but edgy. Just the whole spy thing was like kind of decent too. I'm trying to gauge, I think, what's the overall theme for the album. Kurt, while he wasn't like here, went on kind of like a Stray Kids binge. Checked out like a lot of pre-debut stuff, variety shows, interviews, and other stuff. So he kind of really dove in. But ironically, he didn't listen to the rest of Ordinary without us, and he didn't listen to none of this. Nope. So he hasn't heard Chill or Superboard. So it's gonna be very interesting to get your take on some of the stuff, because now you're kind of super proficient with the group and know some stuff that we don't know, but haven't had an opportunity yet to listen to finish Ordinary or jump into this yet. But no, this is dope still. 2 #1 albums is just crazy to me.
Absolutely.
This literally is Stray Kids year. And it's crazy because I think 2020 and 2021 were crazy years for them. I love...
God's Menu, arguably.
Yeah, I have like obviously an affinity for like and love for like different groups and stuff, but I think hands down they're having like the best year, and I think that numbers prove that. Like it's just too many factors that prove it. The song, the talents, and everything prove it too. We're gonna have a discussion in December though and talk about that a little bit more.
All right.
But how'd y'all feel? Y'all can jump in.
Oh, sorry, good.
Promise.
I'll say, just with everything that was going on in this song particularly, everything with the video and everything that was kind of brought to it as far as the Kingsman vibes and the whole, I guess, just heist sort of theme generally, I thought all that was done really interestingly, and I thought they, it was a good aesthetic for them as well, and something that they clearly have a lot of tribute to, even in one of the variety shows of like The Ninth, I believe it's called, is kind of one of the variety shows. They had a whole thing where they did a Kingsman kind of theme before. Certain members of the group went, they kind of divvied up sort of tasks, if you know what I'm referring to, and 3 of them ended up doing basically a Kingsman thing, and they were talking about it a little bit. So it's just kind of interesting to see that theme come to fruition here. So I enjoyed seeing all that. Definitely, everything with the production aspects definitely does feel like really large and grandiose. I feel like, but like in a serviceable way, given the nature of like everything that they're saying here. As far as like everything with the lyrics, I think lyrically, what Chang Bin did was probably my favorite in the verses or in the song, the verses. As far as everything that he had with the computer scheme, I thought was really cool. As far as the tech, the buffering, the viruses, and everything, like just that whole wordplay of everything while keeping in concept with everything that was going on. I thought that was done really well. And also, I could be wrong, but at the beginning, he had said like ding, 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 like a correct answer, but then dang, dang, and that, you know how we know like the word dang is like the wrong with the bell and everything. So it was like a right and wrong, but it was like a similar sounding thing. So I don't know if there was any juxtaposition kind of within that, or even maybe oxymoron sort of. But I thought all that was done really well, and that's literally just kind of what kicks it off. As far as like everything with flow and beat switches and cadence and everything like that, I think Han kind of delivered it the most. I like the little pieces that they added, particularly with Felix. I was kind of hoping to hear a little bit more of IN, and I do wish Felix had a little bit more, but I like understand why and everything like that. I just like his presence on a track is just very distinct, so it always stands out immediately. I like particularly what Sungmin and Chan were kind of doing a lot with the vocals. I know Han mixed in a little bit as well, but I think their vocals kind of don't get nearly as much shine as they deserve. So I always kind of like to show love to that as well. And there's one more interesting point, but I'm gonna get to that later. I'm gonna let Keith go.
I thought the song was cool. Same thing with the video. Very, very busy. There was a lot going on. It almost sounds like, hey, we got about 5 beats left, but we're done the album. What do we do with these 5 beats? I don't know. Just throw them all on the same song.
That's funny because now I want to check to see if this is the last track.
But it was a little everywhere. This is probably not one of my favorite Stray Kids tracks, but it definitely. I like the video. It was shot well. The color palette is pretty good. It seems very warm, like wood. It's done very. I'm trying not to say the same thing over and over again. It kind of stall, but no, I like the concept of it. I like the idea of it. The Kingsman vibe is definitely a good look. The spy, weapons room, all that other stuff is definitely a good vibe. I just don't know how I feel about the song as a whole. Would I download it? Not sure. If I'm not sure, that's probably a no. This might be something that has to grow me, but I don't know if I'll listen to it enough to give it a chance for it to grow me. I thought it was funny, like the different uses of excuse me, different uses of shields against the bullet. I think Han had a frying pan and somebody else had a plank of wood. Is that a Kingsman 2 reference?
It might have been they just had a new Kingsman with shields and shit.
That's
on
right.
there.
That's right. That's
the
right.
Kingsman.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, they had the shields and everything on there because it was all.
I didn't watch 2 or the prequel.
Yeah, I watched it.
I got to. I just haven't watched it. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. I don't know. But all in all, I thought the editing, as normal for a Stray Kids video, was top notch. All the computer graphics and everything else was clean. The shots, the last hallway scene, which is actually we're watching now for those that are creeps. Just the lighting in that as well to kind of throw the silhouettes and just enough smoke in the hallway to kind of give like the long casting silhouettes or the outline silhouettes down the hallway as they were coming in. It was cool. It was clean. I don't know, like if somebody asked me, what would you change in the song to make it like a standout, absolutely download? I don't know because I don't know if you take any of the aspects of it being too crazy away, is it still the same song, or would I get bored now? Would I now get bored with it? You know what I mean? It's just I don't know what to take away or what to add to it. It's interesting. It's everybody look cool. Felix actually looked cool with the black hair.
I know.
And no mullet, thank God. But I don't know. This puts me in a weird place because I always want to like the Stray Kids stuff, but this just didn't hit me to where I'm like, it just didn't do it for me. Even though that garage looked like the God Menu garage, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, 2 things too. One, I definitely agree with you. In the sense of this definitely is more busy, especially because it seemed like trying to word this to where it's not trying to take anything away from the track, because you say after when you hear Chill, Kurt, and you hear Superboard, the production seemed like it was going to that is some of their best produced.
It seemed like it had a
It seemed like
plan.
it was not like growth, because like I said, I don't want to take away from anything that they were doing years ago. The production on the quality of the production has always been God tier, ironically, to anything Stray Kids is doing. But this new production just seemed a bit more. I don't want to use the term mature because I hate that connotation with the group. That, you know what I mean. So this just seemed a little bit more louder and more busy than the production is for those other 2 tracks. And I think that's cool also, because sometimes I think that is still a staple in them. And I think that they can just kind of do anything. We've heard tracks like Surf's Up or something else where it's just damn, I didn't expect that type of pop element from them. We've heard the Elevators and the other stuff like that and stuff, but this more in line. This probably, I don't want to say it's more in line with God's Menu or something like that, but I think a little more busy.
This is like God, Devil's Menu, Cherubim's Menu. This is everybody's menu.
I think because something like God Menu has more of those vocal breakdowns in the song and the slow up.
Okay.
With here, at least on the first listen, I swear I only heard the vocal line breakup, and I mean the crescendo where it died down and turned into an R&B track, I think one time on here. Versus with not to keep bringing up God's Menu, but the pre-chorus literally stops the busyness
And then they
from
ramp
going
right
on.
back up.
Yeah, and then they ramp it back up and do a dance break.
But see, I think that's the thing with God's Menu too, as opposed to this. I don't feel like I was able to actually get into a groove in the song before they changed something up, and it just sounded different to me, or something just kind of took me out of whatever groove I was trying to get into. Whereas God's Menu, I feel like there's a good progression, and you know when the R&B comes in that it's going to get right back into the shits. You know what I mean? Where this is just kind of like a lot. It really is a lot. It's
Nah,
a
and that's
lot.
cool. And if you feel like it was overproduced, that's fine, because that's what it sounds like. It's like it's a little overproduced. How you feel, Kurt?
Basically, well, just a little bit on the, some of the production behind this too, as far as like what they were doing within the video. I do like how everything kind of starts out. Like you get the immediate mission, you know, and it has like almost like the skull like looking Hydra symbol basically, where it's like get the TMI, and then basically when you get to Chang Bin's part, you see all the, you know, hundreds or so of crumbled up papers, like plans that, you know, have failed or that you've been kind of working through. Clearly, as you know, Keith had pointed out, the various uses of not proper shields, I guess I'll say, for lack of a better way of wording that. Basically, kind of having the odds, you know, seemingly stacked against them in that regard. But basically, when it gets to the end, this is the part I found really interesting, is when they actually get to you know, the prize at the end, you know, for the heist and everything, and they open the box, they all have that look of disappointment on their face. And the thing I find interesting about that is, you know, they have the I Am trilogy, and they have the Klee series as well, Klee being French for key. And basically they're kind of on a mission throughout as far as, you know, to basically find the key, MacGuffin style, as far as like what's it going to be that kind of unlocks, you know, that key to whether it's your potential or, you know, any kind of thing you want to read into that. But the thing I found interesting about that is, without giving like any spoilers or anything like that, it's a lot more of it is kind of a little bit of what you see in films, as far as like it was the road to get there and the journey of self-discovery rather than like any sort of prize or anything like that. So the fact that they kind of have, you know, the box at the end seemingly be empty or filled with a disappointment, I find that a little similar to what they kind of had shown in the Klee series. So I'm curious if there's any kind of connection there. But one thing that honestly that journey in particular has helped with me so far, I mean, and this is going to be a way that I see music differently in general. And this was also something that was true with when we checked out J-Hope's album, the Jack in the Box and everything, in the sense that when you have a certain amount of tracks, every track is a piece to a particular part of a puzzle. So when you see a certain track and you kind of read into it, you might get something that's like really poppy and kind of, you know, something that might not be quite friendly to your ears or anything like that, where it's like, you know, it just, you know, it wasn't for me seemingly. But then there'll be other times when you see it in the context of an album and you see, oh no, they were talking about this and then it got to this part and now this is that upbeatness where you're trying to heal, you know, from this. So you kind of need that levity. But that's as far as like the storytelling of like an album's concerned. So within regards to this, I'm just kind of really curious what piece of the puzzle this would represent in that album. But I am, you know, really curious as far as, you know, how they, like what this sort of would fit into. And just as a side shout out, I mean, I know you had said that they had, you know, 2 #1 albums and how crazy this year is for them. Another thing I really like too, as far as behind the scenes, like, you know, Chan had done so much with the production of this. I mean, they're a group that is largely self-produced, where they kind of, you know, write their own stuff, produce their own stuff. But all that to say, they've worked incredibly hard already, but then like to boost it up to this point with the production, where it's like you're not just a producer, you're also singing, having verses, you know, occasionally, things of that nature, but then you're also, you know, doing like sound mixing and all this other like intricate kind of stuff. So just, you know, how hard they've been working, that's just, you know, insane. But that's just more so appreciation from an artist perspective. As far as the track, I'm not necessarily sure if it's anything that particularly is going to be a download for me or anything like that, at least at this point. I'm more so curious as far as how this fits into the larger picture. But another side point too is just, I know Stray Kids particularly always writes about stuff that they're going through like at the time. So a lot of the lyrics are directly metaphorical to like what they're going through as a group. So I'm kind of trying to read in between the lines as far as some of those things, if there are any. I mean, clearly you have your title tracks and things of that nature too, but I just find it really interesting. I love how their album concepts always kind of have this sort of paradox to them, like ordinary, being a play on ordinary, but you're not ordinary, you're odd, and then maxident, like, you know, an accident,
Like an accident
to the max,
to the
or
max.
something. Like, it's just the wordplay within, and kind of how they conceptually come up with these albums. And having seen some of the behind the scenes that I have, I'm always really curious as far as, you know, what goes into the process with those things. Definitely would be curious to check out the album intro to this at some point, but yeah.
I think the album intro to this one is chill. And like I said, that's some of the best production I've heard this year in K-pop. And then I might start. I've blasted both of them, like, and they've been on repeat the last couple days. Superboard might be over chill now with my rusted ears. But good thing is we jumping into Taste today and a couple other joints, so.
Let's see.
We will see what's up because they got MVs. I seen they had title MV track joints for those too and shit. So I'm good. I'm good. Like, comment, subscribe, #Redeemers. Tell us how y'all felt about this. Jump in the comments and elaborate. Tell us like this is your favorite track. Tell us if you weren't really feeling this. This is a safe place. Other than that, love you guys to death. We're gonna holler at
Love
y'all.
y'all. Take care.